up? HonorHammer26 is here to give you my 21st Q&A. If you'd like to send me a Q&A question, please don't hesitate to do so. Go in my inbox, send me a personal message, pro wrestling, sports, whatever. As many questions as you want. First time in a while doing one of these. I'm very, very glad to bring it back. And, let's get started. First question, 5 questions from Pad's Chargers 2009. Who do you think is the most overrated and underrated player in each sport you follow? Alright, let's start with football, NFL. Most overrated player, I was going to say Tony Romo, but he's hurt right now. I also am a Washington Redskins fan, so that's kind of why. Even with being me being a Washington Redskins fan, I might even say Albert Hainsworth here. He literally has done nothing to earn that contract that he received. And, he was very good with the Titans, but he sucks with us. So I'm going to say Albert Hainsworth, even though I'm a Redskins fan. Underrated, I'm going to say, that's tough. There's been a lot of truth come out this far in the NFL season. Underrated, I'm going to say, I don't really know. I might say Patrick Willis on the San Francisco 49ers. He doesn't get a lot of attention because he is on the 49ers. So I'm going to say Patrick Willis. There isn't really a truly underrated player in the NFL, in my opinion. All right, NBA, overrated. I'm a Wizards fan, for those of you who don't know. Overrated. I'm gonna say LeBron James right now. I do not think it's anywhere close between him and Kobe for the first best player in the league. I think Kobe is miles ahead of him, so I don't think it's even fair to really compare him right now. I know, and Kobe's by far the best player in the game, so I'm gonna say LeBron James. I know that might piss people off, but sorry. Underrated player, I'm gonna say. For that reason, I might say. I don't even know. Underrated in the NBA. I'm trying to think here. I'd say Brandon Jennings. Oh, well, he's not really underrated. I mean, he really was given this chance. Actually, I'm going to say Kevin Durant. I really think he's in the top echelon of the NBA players. I mean, because he is the entire thing on Oklahoma City. If you had a couple good teammates, I could see them making a major playoff run. So I'm going to say Kevin Durant. All right, NHL overrated player, no doubt Sidney Crosby. Screw that guy. I'm a diehard Washington Capitals fan, and the whole Ovechkin versus Crosby argument is ridiculous. Ovechkin is so much better than Crosby. It isn't even funny, and that's me being unbiased. If you don't believe me, you don't have any reason to. But I just think it's ridiculous that some people think Crosby is better than Ovechkin. It's ridiculous. And for that reason, the most underrated player in the NHL is Nicholas Backstrom on the Capitals. Ovechkin's given so much attention that they sometimes forget about Backstrom and how good he is. Every dominant scorer in league history has always had their passer to pass to him. Look at Wayne Gretzky. He had what's his name? He had Luke Robitaille on the Kings, but he also had I can't remember his name right. Of course, right now was it Yari Curry? Maybe I can't remember his name. I could tell you 5 minutes from now, but I have no idea what his name is right now. Yari Curry. That's probably the name that I'm thinking of right now. All right, and then baseball, underrated. I'm a Texas Rangers fan. Underrated MLB. Okay, let's go overrated. Alex Rodriguez. He literally did nothing to help them this season. It was all on Cano's back for the Yankees, and then. Underrated for MLB, I'm going to say... I'm trying to think here. I'm going to say Elvis Andrus on the Rangers. I really can't think of anyone else at the moment. It was good because we have Michael Young and Josh Hamilton and Ian Kinsler. He goes under the radar, and he really was the backbone for our team this year and did a great job. All right, sorry that question took so long, but anyway. Again from Pat's Chargers 2009. Would Kota Ibushi be perfect in NOAH, ROH, or TNA? I think he's perfect in New Japan and DDT. New Japan, because he's one half of the junior champions as a part of Golden Lovers with Kenny Omega right now. So I think more so. I'm sure he'd do fine in Noah because I know he could work with Kenta and Marufuji in their juniors division. ROH, I think he'd be fine as well. I mean, he's worked there before, but TNA, probably not. I mean, he get overlooked in the clusterfuck that is TNA right now. So, I'd say none of those, actually. I'd say New Japan. Again, from Past Chargers 2009. Do you think Tanahashi will ever again hold the IWGP Heavyweight Title? Yes, I do, actually. I think the next man to win it will be Hiroki Goto. Maybe they can plant. I know there's 2 big shows coming up in December, on December 11th and 12th. On one of the shows, Tanahashi's facing Goto, and the other one, Kojima, is facing Goto. Both of those, Kojima's match with Goto is non-title. Maybe have Goto beat Kojima, but lose to Tanahashi. Maybe plant seeds for a title match between those two if Goto beats Kojima. I think actually that might be the way they go. Have Goto beat Kojima and then have Tanahashi beat Goto. I think that would be actually a very good way of doing it. Unless someone else comes up. And I would give Goto a long title reign, but anyway. But yes, I do think Tanahashi will hold it at some point again. Pat Charger 2009 once again. Do you think Pro Wrestling NOAH, a Pro Wrestling NOAH wrestler will hold the IWGP title? If so, who? No, I don't. I see it would have to be the other way around, because I mean Noah's numbers are a little bit down this year, and New Japan is a little bit more popular than them. So I put a New Japan wrestler hold their title and always get some more attention over there. Like Goto's style would work great in Noah. I'm sure if you put it on Tanahashi, kind of the ace of New Japan taking the title away from Noah, I'm sure that would work. I would put it on Nakamura. I really don't think he would do that well with it. Makabe, no. I mean, Kojima would be fine, so I'd put it on Goto or Tanahashi. And the final question from Paz Chargers 2009. What are your thoughts on the Best of Super Juniors tournament from this past year? It made Prince Devitt look like such a great wrestler. I really liked how they made him look, and then he did beat Marufuji at Dominion for the junior title, and he's ran with it ever since then. So I really liked it for the reason they made Devitt look really strong. And there was a pretty good quality matches. I know there was a match between Devitt and Davey Richards that was only okay, but I mean it showed a lot of potential. The finals were great between Ibushi and Devitt. Yeah, it was a good tournament this year. I liked it. All right, first of 2 from Miss Mschwanda. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Do you think that older matches such as Flair Steamboat and Flair Funk are still up to date? Personally, I don't feel that they are as good as great matches. Personally, I don't feel that they are as good as the great matches that happen today, as I have seen many ROH matches that I feel are better. Do you think it's much of do you think? Sorry, I'm reading small text. Do you think much of it is due to the nostalgia factor? I wonder what ROH matches you're talking about there. If you're talking about comparing like the Ladder War, the Dragon Gate 6-man, I think you're comparing apples and oranges. I mean, the whole nostalgia factor, yes, I do see that point. But at the same time, matches like Flair Steamboat and Flair Funk are no doubt 5 stars and classics and better than, both those matches, you can make the argument that they're better than any match in Ring of Honor history. You kind of, if you would say things like, matches that are like a little less than those and put them against today's matches, yes, I think that the ROH matches from today are better. That's just like the argument in sports that if you put the modern day Lakers against the 80s Lakers, the modern day Lakers would kill them. Just anything as far as we go into modern times is the most premium we will ever see. The nostalgia factor thing I do get. The Flair, all those matches between Flair and Steamboat, Flair and Funk took place 20 years ago, if not a little more than that. So I was before I was born. So the nostalgia factor is there, but the ROH matches are current, and that's probably why you feel a little bit more connected with them because they're there while they're happening, as opposed to Flair and Steamboat when you weren't there for those. So there's that. Again, from Miss C.H. Wanda. What do you feel are some of the most overrated and underrated matches? All right, WWE. An overrated match would be the Iron Man. I don't think it's a classic. I think it's like 4.5, but not a classic. Underrated. Kurt Angle Undertaker. No way. 06. TNA overrated. Not really anything I can think of. I can't really think of anything. Maybe the rematch from Unbreakable against the odds of 6, Joe Styles and Daniels. I thought that match wasn't anywhere close. I know a lot of other people don't, but I heard some people say it's along those lines. I don't see that at all. An underrated TNA. Let's say Nigel, Desmond Wolfe, and Kurt Angle from Turning Point 09. I really love that match. ROH, overrated. Aries and Punk from Death Before Dishonor 3. I feel that match with all the stuff that happened with Punk afterwards is more so contributing to the Summer of Punk storyline than that match itself. So I only give that 4.5 as opposed to 5. So an underrated, I'm going to say for ROH, I'm going to say thinking. I really can't think of anything right now. I don't know why. Maybe Marufuji and Nigel McGuinness from Glory of Honor 5 Night 2. Maybe it's a little overshadowed by Danielson and Kenta, the first Danielson and Kenta match, because that match is better, but it's not that much better. Like, I gave Marufuji and McGuinness for a strong 4 3/4, and I gave Bryan Danielson and Kenta 5, but it is a little overshadowed. So, I'm going to say Marufuji and McGuinness. All right, only question from Mr. PS59. If Benoit was still alive and you could book him against any opponent, past or present, who would it be, etc.? Kenta, Steamboat. Say Davey Richards here. I mean, it's seen as kind of a modern-day Davey Richards. I mean, I remember Daniel Talks Pro Wrestling is now his name, said, like, in the video about the Draggate and Indie Fanboys, Dynamite Kid turned into a similar version of Chris Benoit, who turned into a similar version of Davey Richards. So, I would love to see Benoit and Richards, especially in a scene like New Japan. I think they would both succeed. Put them in a ring like WWE, I think it'd be great. Put them in an ROH ring, put them in Mexico. I'm sure these two could have so many great matches together, Benoit and Richards. All right, but we will, of course, never see that, and nothing ever close to it. All right, question from Y2AFW. How come your favorite NL team is the Redskins, the NBA team is the Wizards, NHL team is the Capitals, but your favorite MLB team is Texas Rangers and not the Nationals? And some people actually might know the answer to this already, but the Texas Rangers, the second franchise called the Washington Senators. The first one moved to Minnesota. The second one moved to Texas. They were called the Washington Senators. So I used to, my family used to root for all Washington area teams, but instead of just going to the Orioles, because the Washington D.C. area didn't have a baseball team for 35 years, we just followed the team to Texas, and so the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and now we're Rangers fans. So we just stayed with the team instead of learning all new players and getting all new jerseys. We just stayed with them, which I think is actually a really cool thing. First question from Ecstasy 69. Sorry. Do you think the USA Championship should be held by an American? If they aren't going to put the championship on an American wrestler, I don't know why they bothered to create Dragon USA. They could have just brought in the original Dragon to tour in the USA. Very good point here, actually. The only two wrestlers I could ever see holding it would be Jon Moxley and Mike Quackenbush. But I mean, the top echelon of talent are all Japanese guys in the USA. I think they just wanted an excuse to have a lot amount of shows in America, and then some in Canada now as well, for DGUSA, without having to get all the guys to tour Dragon Gate and all that stuff. Because they did hold a show in Los Angeles, but a lot of people don't know about that show when DGUSA gets so much press just because it's its own promotion. So that's probably why they did that. I do agree that I actually thought Quackenbush might have been the guy to be BB Hulk. It would have made a lot of sense to have him be the traditional champion to Shingo. Because I think Shingo should be the champion right now. Him or Moxley. But anyway. Yeah, that's probably that. I mean, a lot of people brought up that point that why should DGUSA even exist with this technology we have today? And my answer to that is to get more shows over here. And money reasons, even though it might save a little money, just not even have the promotion at all. And then final question from Ecstasy, and final question in the Q&A from Ecstasy 69. Paul Heyman said in an interview at Comic-Con that he believes that wrestling and comic books are a natural fit. So do you believe that ROH, and especially Chikara, made a mistake by not going to that event this year? Yeah, I do. I definitely think it could bring positive press. I know WWE is some sort of comic book I know TNA and no one else really does, unless, in America at least. CMLL might have one, and AAA might have one, and maybe some companies in Japan. But WWE is really the only one that has a comic book series in the United States. So I feel that, I think Chikara would do great at an event like Comic-Con with all the things that happen, with all the characters and stuff. And the BDK could be seen as a Green Goblin-like villain, or a Joker, or a Spider-Man. I already said him. Batman, Joker, things like that. And then Superman, like a Lex Luthor, someone like that. All right,